What is going on? I'm going to give my analysis of what's going on in Rick Glenn versus Grant Dawson. This is a great fight. There's some great grappling in this fight, so I'm excited to give my take on what I think is happening. Let me just play through this first clip in its entirety. So this is an awesome sequence. There's just so much about this that's absolutely awesome. Let's go right to the shot. And there's something in particular that I want to emphasize in this, but let's go right to the shot. So we got Southpaw versus Orthodox. Rick Glenn being the Southpaw. Grant Dawson shooting his takedown. He's going head outside, and he's dropping to both knees. And the reason why he's dropping to both knees here is because he needs to get his hips in. So he drops to both knees in order to get his hips in. And originally, it looks like Rick Glenn is trying to get an underhook as part of his defense. Like Rick wants to use his right arm as an underhook to try and pick Grant up. That's what it's looking like to me. But Grant is just his bait. He's so strong here. He goes up high with his right arm, and he goes for that double leg, but he doesn't do it like a traditional style. Like he's not catapulting to the right. He's not windmilling clockwise. He's going counterclockwise with his windmill. And what I mean is like the direction that his hands are moving. If he was windmilling clockwise, it would be Rick's head going down to the right and Rick's legs going up to the left. But instead, it's the opposite. So let's see. He goes and he puts him down now. Rick right away uses this butterfly hook that he's got in. Not really a butterfly hook, but just a shin frame across. And he does this bridge off to the side. And that gives him just enough space that he could start to technical get up, kind of. So right here, Rick plants his right hand on the mat. He starts moving his hips away, but what I really want to emphasize is what Grant does. The second Grant starts to realize that Rick is starting to get up around the fence, Grant is going to beat him with his right leg. You see this right here? Watch Grant's right leg. Grant tucks the right leg in behind, so that way Rick can't get his body sealed to the fence before Grant can get there. Okay, so Grant throws the right leg in behind, so that way when Rick stands up and Grant pushes his hips in, he's got great leverage to lift him up right here. Great leverage to lift him up. Let's go back to the clip. Great leverage to lift. And that's exactly what he does. He's got his hands together. Rick's left hand has the overhook back here. Not a whole lot Rick can do. Not that there's nothing that I know of really that Rick is going to be able to do about this. Grant gets the takedown, and notice how he's bridging off this left leg. This is an important part of this. Grant needs to stay bridging here. He can't let his hips drop because this is all about the battle of hip height. That's why both of these guys are bridging. If one of them's bridging and the other's not, the battle's going to be lost. Okay, Grant goes and gets on top. It's a beautiful sequence. Let's move on to the next clip here. This I found absolutely insane. This is gonna just part of it just be somewhat of a dog effort. So Rick goes ahead and he this is beautiful. First off, I mean he moves his hips out of the way and then he pulls Rick down. This is just beautiful wrestling right here. But what's high level, what's a great trained reaction is this pummeling Grant does with his left leg. As Rick goes to turtle, he sticks that hook in so slick. Immediately with his right leg, he goes with a Hodger hook. Now, what's crazy is Grant's got double underhooks here. Grant's got his hands together. He's got one hook in and a Hodger hook. And he somehow gets him down to his back. And it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. Now, what I think happened was Rick initiated this movement with his left leg. So if you have a look at Rick's left leg, I think he was kicking his left leg straight in attempts to try and pummel to clear the hook. And once he did that, Rick just did a yank with his left hamstring in order to get him down. But here we are. Grant pummels that. Great dexterity of the legs here. Great dexterity of the legs. I think what really needs to happen is Rick needs to seal his right knee and his right elbow in order to prevent this. But that might cause some other risks. Other risks. I don't know how that's going to open him up for the choke. I don't know if that's even possible where the double underhooks might be keeping him open like that. But just a beautiful sequence of getting that hook in by Grant Dawson after he spirals him down. Just follows him beautifully with the hook, grabs the Hodra hook, and then if that reaction is correct and what I think it was, that was beautifully timed and very well done. Now, this was a great adaptation by Rick Glenn. Beautiful, beautiful adaptation. Just a beautiful sequence across the board. Absolutely beautiful sequence. Let's go into this one. So, first off, there's something very uncommon about this position in the very beginning, right? Rick is going for that underhook, or at least a frame on the face, but it didn't work last time. He realizes very quickly it's not going to work this time. Look at how Grant gets up to his feet, and Grant goes to do the exact same thing as he did before. Listen, when you cannot sprawl, when you cannot pummel, you wrap the body. That's what he does. He couldn't sprawl, he couldn't pummel, he wraps the body, and he Sumigashis. Rolls all the way through. It almost looks like he's got a chance to get to mount during this, but kind of unlikely. There's just so much momentum with this roll, and Grant knows what he's doing. He goes with it. They roll through, and immediately Rick goes to fight the face here. Rick wants to get Grant's face to the inside. That's what it's looking like to me. But in this process, Grant gets up to his feet. He's getting back deep in the shot. Immediately, Rick goes back to the body, circling. And now, what I think really should happen is Rick should get really heavy on this overhook, tucking that same hip down. He's going to put his left hip on the mat and get really heavy, and that's pretty much what he does. Now from here, framing on the face, getting away. Beautiful adaptation by Rick Glenn going into that last one, where once you cannot pummel and you cannot sprawl, you can't push the head down. You've got to wrap the body. Let's have a look at. Oh, and this was just absolutely beautiful by Grant Dawson. This was a beautiful fight. This was a beautiful fight. What I love about this, when your back is against the fence, like Rick Glenn, he doesn't want his back against the fence. You've only got two directions you can go. You can go left or you can go right. You can't go into the fence, and you can't just run the guy over because that's going to give him these throws, right? Let's have a look here. Now, Grant has the underhook with his left arm. So it's going to be hard to get off the fence on the side of the underhook. It's very common people use their underhook to get off the fence. That doesn't mean it's impossible. You can get off the fence. Like, Rick can get off the fence by moving to his right. There is a way. However, it's very common people try and lift their underhook up high. They start circling around. Look at this. What I really want you to notice here is the elbow position. Okay, once Grant has his right elbow high, that's because he has the overhook. So his right elbow's high and his left elbow's low. Look at how that changes. Boom. Now, it's the left elbow that's high and the right elbow that's low. Right? He lifts up with his underhook. He pulls down with his overhook. He does this twist. This is just beautiful basic judo sasai. Such a clean, efficient sweep that you can do once they're getting off the fence. It's something you've got to drill. You got to be good at this. You got to know how to sasai if you want to do MMA. Or if you want to be a good grappler, fighter, whatever, you got to have a sasai. And this is just the nastiest sasai. He puts him flat on his back. That's really all I have to say about this fight. It was a beautiful fight. And there was more that happened, but like some great ground exchanges, some great jiu-jitsu. And I mostly just wanted to cover the wrestling. But that is my analysis of what's happened here. If you see anything that I'm missing, let me know. But it was just a beautiful fight. But both guys fought really well. It ended up being a draw, I think. Yeah, it ended up being a draw because it was a 10-8 in the third that Rick Glenn won. So, beautiful fight on both of these guys' parts. Such a beautiful Sumigashi. Immediately goes to move the head inside, can't do it, wraps the body again, turns, heavy on the overhook, dropping the hips low. So, oh man, it's just beautiful work by both of these guys. So I'm looking forward to studying these guys more moving forward, because this is just high level grappling. This just goes to show like the level of wrestling that you need to have to fight in the UFC today is insane. These wrestlers are insane. So anyway, that is all I have to say about this. Thanks for watching.